What's up, everyone? Let's talk about Netflix's adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, which is finally here. Before we get into my review, the basics on the story, just in case you need them. The main character here is the Master of Dreams, aka Dreamer Morpheus. He's played by Tom Sturridge, and he's one of the Endless, a group of immortal beings who rule different realms. Morpheus has the Dreaming, there's also Kirby Howell-Baptiste as Death, Mason Alexander Park as Desire, and Donna Preston as Despair. But back to Morpheus now. So what happens is one day he gets captured, and the effect that has on the dreaming and the waking world is just absolutely devastating. So once he gets free, Morpheus has to set out to do whatever he can to restore order and rebuild. So if you haven't read the Sandman graphic novel, I really wouldn't be all that surprised if, based on that very brief description I just gave, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, wow, that sounds like a lot. And it very much is. You know, I always love telling you all where I'm coming at when I'm reviewing an adaptation based on popular source material, and in this case, I haven't read the graphic novel, but I did make a point to listen to the audiobook, which is an incredible production, but I know the two aren't the same types of experiences, but the point being, I wanted to bring that up because I really do think that having listened to the story before watching this show made a pretty big difference for me, especially when it came to the first 4 episodes. While watching them, I did very much catch myself wondering, if someone goes in completely cold, are the details conveyed clearly and early enough? But the thing is, even having listened to that audiobook before watching the show, I still found the first 4 episodes a little difficult to totally lose myself in. They're a bit slow, and I might even say a tad hollow, but I think the show really did always run the risk of that happening just because of how Dream carries himself and the fact that he's a bit more closed off to mankind at the beginning of the story. He just doesn't express all that much emotion, and he's a pretty stern individual. It isn't really until he starts to interact with the other Endless that I felt like I finally had some real access to the character and his headspace, but the thing is, the other Endless don't really pop up until well into the season. And that's another thing you should know about this Sandman show. They do very much stick to the chapter format of the source material, so each episode is kind of like its own mini story within the larger story, and you know, with a format like that, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because some stories and also because some performances are stronger than others here. One of the best of the bunch, probably my absolute favorite character and performance of the whole entire thing, is Kirby Howell-Baptiste as Death. She's only in one chunk of one episode, but it had me tearing up big time, and then after, I do think that you could really feel that portion of the show just reverberating throughout the entire season. I was also absolutely loving Mason Alexander Park as Desire. Just what a deliciously sinister performance that I really, really wish we got more of. And, you know, given what I just said and who I just brought up, this next statement is gonna come as no surprise, but I do wish we got to spend more time with the members of the Endless in general this season. I found that material to be some of the most powerful of the bunch. But there is some Waking World material that I thought worked really, really well, though. In particular, the diner episode, and also the episode that is largely set in a pub. But then, on the other hand, there was another pretty iconic story within the story that just didn't really work for me. I won't reveal the details here for those who haven't read the source material, but it's Morpheus's encounter with Lucifer, who's played here by Gwendolyn Christie. That's just, I think, the kind of thing that I think is just really difficult to bring off the page and sell as well on screen in a believable way, and the way they went about that just didn't quite do it for me. Running through a little more of the ensemble now, I will admit, I was having a bit of a hard time with Matthew the Raven initially because Patton Oswalt's voice is just so incredibly distinct, but his performance is one that wound up growing on me quite a bit. I was also a very, very big fan of Vivian Achempong's Lucienne, who is the librarian of the Dreaming, and she's also essentially Dream's right hand, and their dynamic together was just above and beyond one of my favorite parts of this show. Their chemistry was spot on. This bums me out, but performance-wise, I do have to point out that there were some weaker ones that popped up in, I would say, the final few episodes, and they do noticeably lessen the impact of what is the focus of those episodes. All right. Ultimately here, I think I have to give Sandman 3 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. Basically, this is me just teetering positive here because it is a bit of a mixed bag. Some things work, other things don't, and some things even work exceptionally well, where it winds up being one of my favorite sequences of TV in 2022, but then also there are other moments that just fall flat and don't have the magic to make you believe. But of course, this is a Neil Gaiman adaptation we're talking about here, and I just find some of the ideas that he comes up with regarding the rules of the universe and how we operate absolutely irresistible. I really do love existing in and exploring that space and those ideas. So while I do think that there is a good deal of room for improvement, after watching the Sandman season 1, I really would be interested in seeing more. So we'll see what happens with this one. Those are my thoughts on the Sandman season 1 for you. Now I leave it to you. If and when you watch the show, when it drops on Netflix, hit that comment section below. Share your own thoughts right there. And you know I love playing this game. Tell me your favorite character. I'm going with Death. What is yours? Tell me about it. Before I wrap up this video, it's Patreon shout out time. I got a special one to give right now. This is going to Ian. Ian, you know how much I love our chats. You are seriously one of the best, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed I'll see you at a festival in the near future. I haven't made any commitments yet, but I'm staying hopeful that it's gonna happen. So hopefully, see you soon, but definitely see you soon on Slack. So we got some fantasy football to talk about. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Like and share this video before you leave it, and stay tuned. Got more reviews on the way very, very soon.